Hello student. So after completion of the medulla oblongata, let's see the pons. So the meaning of pons means that is the bridge. So bridge means that is the connection between that is the two structure. So that is pons. It is located in between the medulla oblongata and the midbrain. Means superiorly it is connected with the midbrain and inferiorly it is connected with the medulla oblongata. So the important fifth cranial nerve, that is the trigeminal nerve, both root of the trigeminal nerve, that is the sensory and motor, they should be originate from the pons. So let's see the detailed structure of the pons. So here in this diagram you can see that is this is the pons. So this is the midbrain, this is the medulla oblongata, and between this that is the pons is present. So pons means that is in Latin the bridge. So it should be present between that the midbrain and the pons, means connected to that the medulla oblongata and the midbrain. So it is called the pons, and laterally it is connected with that is the middle cerebellar peduncle. So here you can see this rounded part, that is the middle cerebellar peduncle with the cerebellum. So it can again forming that the bridge or connection between the cerebellum and the pons by that is the middle cerebellar peduncle. So that is also called the pons, means that is the bridge. And you know that is the brainstem that consists of the midbrain, pons and the medulla oblongata. So pons, it is one of the part of that is the brainstem. Then external features. So the external features that include the two surfaces, that is this is the ventral surface and posterior to it that is the dorsal surface, and the two borders, that is this is the superior border, this one, and this is the inferior border, this one. So let's see that is the ventral surface. So it shows the convex ventral surface marked by a prominent transversely fiber passing on the laterally. So this is here you can see that is the fibers, it should be crosses and goes on the laterally. So laterally those fiber collect to form the bundle of the fibers, it is called the middle cerebellar peduncle, and this middle cerebellar peduncle that should be attached posteriorly to that the cerebellum. Then the anterior surface of the pons marked by a shallow groove at the median plane. So here you can see it is called the sulcus basilaris or basilar sulcus. So here you can see in this region that is the basilar artery, it should be present. Then the trigeminal nerve that should be originate from, so here you can see this is the trigeminal nerve. So it should be emerges from the anterior surface in the plane of the junction between the pons and the middle cerebellar peduncle. Then the junction between the midbrain and the pons, this one. So the junction between the midbrain and the pons, so here that is the midbrain and that is the pons. So here that is the junction, which is marked by a cerebellar peduncle disappearing into the upper part of the pons. So here into that the upper part of the pons, that is the cerebellar peduncle cannot be seen. Then from the caudal side, means that is the inferior side, called the pontomedullary junction. This is the pons and this is the medulla oblongata. So where it should be joined, so it is called the pontomedullary junction, which is marked by a shallow groove, this one. And from this the from medial to lateral side, that is the three cranial nerves they are originate. So here you can see that is the sixth, this is the seventh, and this is the eighth, means abducent, facial and the auditory on both side, that is 6th, 7th and the 8th. This is the 6th, 7th and the 8th. So these three cranial nerves, they are originate from the pontomedullary junction. Then the dorsal surface. So dorsal surface of the pons, here you can see this one, that is the dorsal surface, and this is the middle cerebellar peduncle, this one. So the dorsal surface covered by the cerebellum and separated by a cavity. So this one, that is the fourth ventricle, and dorsal surface, it is a triangular. So here you can see that is the triangular surface and forms the floor of the fourth ventricle. So this is the floor of fourth ventricle. Then the internal structure of the pons. So in the cross section of the pons, at any level, it shows that is the two distinct region, that is the ventral part, this one it is called the basilar part, and the small dorsal part, it is called the tegmental part. So this one. So generally the common structure they are present into that the basilar part, and into the tegmental part there is presence, that is the different nuclei of the cranial nerve, and that should be occurs at the different level in the upper part and the lower part of the pons, that is the different structure and the nuclei they should be present into that the tegmental part. So let's see that is the structure present into the tiers of the pons at the lower part of the pons. So here in this diagram you can see that is the tiers or the transverse section passes through the part of the lower part of the pons. So it shows that is the two structure, that is the ventral part and this is the dorsal part. So let's see firstly the structure which is present into that the gray matter. So gray matter, it shows the nucleus of abducent nerve. So here you can see red color abducent nerve, nucleus of facial nerve, here you can see facial, and the nucleus of auditory nerve. So auditory nerve, that include the two nucleus, that is the vestibular nerve and the cochlear nerve, because that the nerve is also called the vestibulocochlear. So here you can see that is the cochlear nucleus, these two, and these two are the vestibular nucleus. So these three cranial nucleus that should be present into this transverse section. So first let's see the abducent nucleus. So here you can see that is the abducent nucleus, this one. So it lies beneath the facial colliculus. So here you can see that is the facial colliculus, that the rounded part, this one. So that is the facial colliculus. So the abducent nucleus lies beneath the facial colliculus at the floor of fourth ventricle. So here that the cavity is present, this one, that is the fourth ventricle, this one. So this nucleus that should be present beneath the facial colliculus at the floor of fourth ventricle. Then the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. So this one. This is, you can see that is the facial nerve and this is the nucleus. So the motor nucleus of facial nerve lies ventrolateral to that the abducent nucleus. So that should be present on the ventrolaterally. The nucleus first wind round to that the abducent nucleus. So here you can see that is the winding part, producing the facial colliculus. So this one, that the rounded part, it is called the facial colliculus, and then passes anteriorly between the facial nucleus. So here, and the nucleus of the spinal tract of the trigeminal nucleus. Then the superior salivary and inferior salivary and lacrimatory nucleus that should be present medial to that the facial nucleus. So here that the three nucleus are present: superior salivary, inferior salivary and lacrimatory nucleus. Then the nucleus of tractus solitarius, it lies lateral to the superior salivary nucleus. So here in this region that the vestibular nuclei or the nucleus of the tractus solitarius that should be present. Then the vestibular nuclei, so here you can see that is the vestibular nuclei are present, lies beneath to the vestibular area in the floor of the fourth ventricle. So this one. Then the dorsal and ventral cochlear nuclei. So this is the dorsal cochlear nuclei, this is the ventral cochlear nuclei, are located dorsal and ventral to the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So here you can see the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and these two nuclei, ventral and dorsal, that should be present upper and the lower side of the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Then the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So here this you can see fifth nerve means that is the trigeminal nerve. So the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and its tract are located anteromedial aspect of the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Here you can see. After then we should have to see that is the white matter. So white matter of the pons. So it shows the trapezoid body. So here you can see this is the trapezoid body, this one. So trapezium or the trapezoid body, it shows the mass of white fibers laying anterior part of the tegmentum. It is formed by the decussation of transversely running fibers arising in the cochlear nuclei. So here you can see this is. So these are the transversely going fibers which is arising from the cochlear nuclei. Then the medial lemniscus, this one. So here you can see the medial lemniscus. It passes from the medulla to the pons and situated most anterior part of the tegmentum, and it shows the somatotropic representation for the neck, arm, tongue and the legs in the medial to lateral sequence, this one. Then spinal lemniscus. So here you can see the spinal lemniscus, this one. So spinal lemniscus lateral to the medial and occupies a peripheral part as a medulla. Then the medial longitudinal bundle. So this one too. M, that is the medial longitudinal bundle. So the medial longitudinal bundle, it occupies the paramedian position in the most of the part of the medulla oblongata. Then the next one, that is the rubrospinal tract. So R here, that is also present inferior to that the medial longitudinal bundle, and in the middle that is the tectospinal tract is present. So T, that is the tectospinal tract. So these are the structure which is present the TS of the lower part of the pons. In the ventral or the basilar part, there is presence that the small nuclei. So here dark black color you can see, that is the nuclei. So that is called the pontine nuclei, as that is present into that the pons. And apart from this, that is the longitudinal bundle of corticonuclear and the corticospinal fibers. So here the larger are present into that the basilar part of the pons. So this structure, they are present the TS through the caudal or the inferior part of that the TS of the pons. Then after see the TS of the pons at the cranial level. So here you can see that is the diagram. So it shows mostly the trigeminal nuclei. So here you can see that is the motor nucleus, this is the sensory nucleus, and this is the mesencephalic nucleus, this one. So that is the trigeminal nuclei. And the tegmentum, it shows, that means the posterior part, that is the fourth ventricle. So this one, which bounded either side of the superior cerebellar peduncle. So here you can see that is the superior cerebellar peduncle, this one, on both sides of the fourth ventricle. And the roof is formed by the superior medullary velum. Then let's see that is the gray matter. So the gray matter shows motor and main sensory nuclei of the trigeminal nerve. So here you can see that is the motor nuclei of the trigeminal nerve, and that is the main sensory nuclei of the trigeminal nerve. Then first, that is the motor nuclei. So motor nuclei of the trigeminal nerve, it is present beneath to the lateral aspect of the fourth ventricle. Emerging fibers, it travels anteriorly and exit on the anterior surface of the pons. So this one. Then second one, that is the sensory fiber. So the sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve situated lateral to that the motor nucleus. Then caudally continuous with the nucleus of the spinal tract of the trigeminal nerve and the mesencephalic nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So this one, mesencephalic nucleus. Then the white matter. So the some ascending tract as in the lower part, they are same seen into this region. However, that is the lemniscus, they are very much developed. So the ventral part of the tegmentum. So here in this you can see that is the 4 lemniscus are present from medial to lateral side. So this one 4 pair, that is this 4 side here and 4 side here. So from the medial to lateral side, that is the medial lemniscus, second one the trigeminal lemniscus, third one the spinal lemniscus and lateral lemniscus. So these are present into that the one side, that is the 4 lemniscus. Then the other nuclei, that is the medial longitudinal bundle. So here that is present on the paramedian side. Second one, that is the tectospinal tract, that should be present on the paramedo side, and the rubrospinal tract, that should be also present and the paramedial side. And the remaining tract, that should be seen like the lower part of the TS of the pons. So the blood supply of the pons, that is here you can see the basilar artery, and from this, that is the several small branches are come called the pontine arteries. So P denote that is the pontine artery. So this pontine artery that supply the oxygenated blood to that the pons. The apart from this, that is the anterior inferior cerebellar artery, that is also supply the blood to that the pons. After then we should have to see that is the functions of the pons. So for this again we should have to see the diagram. So here you can see that is the pons and the function of the pons. First function, you know, that consists of the pontine nuclei. So these of the several pontine nuclei are the sites at which the signals for the voluntary movement which are originate in the cerebral cortex. So in the upper side, that is the cerebral cortex is present, are relayed into that the cerebellum. So that is the function, means that is the impulses or that is the signals which are voluntary signals which are come from the cerebral cortex to that the pons, and from the pons, that is throughout that the middle cerebellar peduncle, that should be goes into that the cerebellum. That is the first function. The second function, that is the pons have the pneumotaxic and the pneumoacoustic area, and these togetherly, these two area forming the medullary rhythmicity area, and those control the breathing of the body. After then we should have to see that is the clinical anatomy of the pons. So for this here you can see the pons. So first clinical anatomy, that is the astrocytoma. So astrocytoma, it is the tumor which is most common tumor of the brainstem. So that may be occurs in the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata, but commonly occurs into that the pons, and very usually occurs into the childhood, and the sign and symptoms that should be depend on the area which is affected. Then the pontine hemorrhage. So you know that the pons, that is supplied by the pontine artery, which is the branch of the basilar artery. So if the hemorrhage that should be occurs into that the pontine artery due to involvement of the branches of the basilar and the inferior cerebellar artery, and it shows the symptoms. So these symptoms are seen, that is the pinpoint pupil. Second one, that is the hyperpyrexia, that is due to severe damage to the pons, and the body is cut off from the heat regulating center in the hypothalamus. So because of the temperature regulating center that should be present into that the hypothalamus, and if that the body is cut off, so hyperpyrexia means uncontrolling of the temperature that should be occurs. Then the next symptoms, that is the deep coma, that is occurs due to the involvement of the reticular formation. And the next symptoms, that is the bilateral paralysis of the face, limb and the other part of the neck due to involvement of the facial nerve nuclei and the corticospinal fibers. So that should be involved the facial nerve and the corticospinal nucleus of corticospinal fibers, so it should be occurs the bilateral paralysis of the face, limb and the neck. Then the next clinical point, that is the Argyll-Robertson pupil. So in this, that is the light reflexes is lost but the accumulation reflexes is retained, that is due to lesion in the vicinity of the pretectal nucleus of the pons. The last clinical point related to that the pons, that is the Millard-Gubler syndrome. So it results from the lesion of the lower part of the pons. So here we can see that is the TS of the pons at the lower level, and that consists of the abducent nucleus, this one, the facial nucleus and the corticospinal tract. So this one. So it includes the pyramidal tract and the nucleus of the abducent and the facial nerve. So the characteristic features, it should be occurs when the lesion should be occurs into this side. So ipsilateral and medial squint due to involvement of the abducent nerve. So this one. Then the ipsilateral facial palsy due to involvement of the facial nerve. So this one. And the contralateral hemiplegia due to involvement of the corticospinal tract and its fiber. So these symptoms that should be seen in this disease, that is called the Millard-Gubler syndrome. So these are the clinical points related with the pons.